Talking Heads podcast live from Pattaya, Thailand with your host Dave D. Join us weekdays. Check out all the latest updates on talkingheads-podcast.com.
Welcome to Pattaya and welcome to Thailand. It's another sunny day down here. Hopefully no rain, of course, over the weekend. In the studio, as per normal, we have Bobby, the man himself, at the end of the desk, doing a little bit of the controls. Good day to you, sir.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
To be here.
How was the weekend?
Weekend was good. I got to enjoy the downpour a couple of times. It was pretty rainy.
Coming, was it? It was really.
But then I went swimming yesterday in the pool with the kids.
But after a dual weekend, we come in the studio and look at this.
Yes.
Look at what is in the studio. She has brightened up our day already. Layla, welcome to the studio.
Honored to be here.
We're honored to. No. We're honored to have you here.
It's incredible.
You like it?
Podcast. I'm completely new to it.
Can I say you are the 70-year-old virgin to podcasts?
Almost 7-year-old. I love it.
Do you like it? Do you like the colour?
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and so it looks so professional.
Well, yeah, it's nice, isn't it? We tried, didn't we?
Yeah, we definitely tried.
Bobby went for the black side, and I went for the feminine side, which was the pink.
It's a beautiful contrast.
Good. It's nice to have you in the studio.
Yes.
Very, like I said, it's very good to have you. Podcast is very, very simple. I mean, me and you chatting away and talking about things that's happened to you since you was born. And of course, where was that?
That was a long time ago.
Don't say that like this. It wasn't a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. I was born in a little village named Layla, and I was named after it. And it was in Asia, in Indonesia.
In Indonesia?
Indonesia.
How sweet is that?
Yes.
That's like touching, isn't it, that one?
Yes. And the souvenir that my parents took from Indonesia.
And where was that? Did you say it was in Indonesia?
On the island of Flores.
Okay.
In Indonesia. My parents were both medical missionary doctors. They met each other there, and I was born there in the little village Layla.
Wow, hey, I like that one.
Yeah.
I love that one.
So I have my roots in Asia, and I guess that's why I really feel very much at home here.
Yeah, I mean, some people do. I mean, yeah, I'm from the UK, as you probably guessed, but I feel so much at home in Asia. I really do. So being born in Layla, yeah,
right,
okay. I mean,
right.
what was the progression from that? I mean, what was schooling like for you? I mean, what kind of schools did you go for? Was you normal schools? Was it the upper class schools? I mean, where did you go?
Well, like yourself, I'm from Europe, and I actually didn't go to school in Indonesia. My parents moved around a lot. They were missionary doctors in Indonesia, but then they joined the United Nations, WHO, World Health Organization, and my father had lots of projects from one project to the other, and I'm the eldest of 8 children. And all the children were born in different countries, so my schooling was also in different countries.
So how many children, sorry?
8 children.
So 8 children?
8.
So you have eight, how many brothers and sisters? 2
brothers, and now 4 sisters, 1 sister passed away.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry for that.
Yes.
And they was all born in different countries.
Different countries, and they all have local names from those countries.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
I like that. I like that.
Souvenirs from...
That's probably why my middle name is Bronx.
Bronx. To Africans, let me see, Kizito and Dota were born in Tanzania.
Wow.
And then Kais and Fatima were born in Iraq, in the Middle East.
Wow.
Jai Singh in Jaipur in India. Kashida in Shillong in the Himalayas in India. And then Domanike, the youngest one, is White Pearl in the Divehi language in the Maldive Islands.
Wow, we shouldn't have started this podcast with hello today. We should have started this podcast with once upon a time. I mean, that's great. That's just like a story. I mean, I like that. I love them names as well. So nice. So the last schooling that you did before you decided that you was going to go on your way, I mean, where was your last school at?
I must have gone to 15, 16 different schools.
Wow.
And the last school was actually in the United States. That's why I sound American. I went to college in Boston and then moved on to Los Angeles. And that's where the last education had before I started working.
Before you started working. What was your first job? I mean, did you pursue something that you wanted to do, or did you just end up doing something that you had to do?
I ended up doing something that was expected of me.
Why do you say that? Expected of you?
Because it was wanted of me, because I had the education.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to travel, but because I had the education and the opportunity and the family business, so they wanted me to move into that. So I did end up working for Vroom & Dreesman department stores in Holland. I only did that for a short time, and when I did get the opportunity, I joined the airline.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to get at is this, because I've seen this a lot of times in my years of interviewing people, that, you know, they're born into a family that's is a good family, and of course it's expected of them to follow in the footsteps of.
Yes.
But I mean, you were sort of put into that pigeonhole, but you knew straight away in your head this wasn't for you?
I traveled all my life, and I had friends all over the world. And my father said, you can't just become a stewardess. But after he passed away, I did feel that I really did want to do that. So I went ahead and became a air hostess.
A bit of Catch Me If You Can, yes?
And I loved it. And if I got the chance again, I'd do it again.
1975?
In 1975, I graduated from Los Angeles, but I started with KLM 1979. 1979.
That was with KLM?
Royal Dutch Airline.
Royal Dutch Airlines
very first airline of the world.
Wow.
I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, I mean
blue. We got to choose the sky color. Yeah.
And you was doing what? I mean, international routes?
International routes, yes.
It must have been amazing.
Yes, absolutely what I dreamt of, and I loved every minute of it. And unfortunately, I had to stop flying.
How long?
Early retirement.
How long did you do that for?
Almost 25 years.
25 years as a stewardess.
As a stewardess.
So
and
can I say this? You've racked up some mileage, yes?
I certainly have, up in the sky.
I meant that in a real nice way, of course. No. But that's amazing.
Up high. Yeah.
Is there any sort of thing there must be, there's got to be, what a silly question. But in 25 years, there's got to be a few things that stick out in your mind that happened on flights that were either funny or maybe not so funny. Can you share anything with us? Am I sort of like taking you back too far?
There are so many, many, many wonderful memories, but I think the most profound impact that it had on my life was really the connection with Thailand and the reason why I'm here. And that's because it brought me to the Fatima Self-Help Center in Bangkok.
Oh, okay.
And I had a sister named Fatima, and she passed away. And I'm quite religious, and I go to mass every Sunday. So when I was here on one of my layovers, I saw Fatima Church. So I thought, I'll go to mass on Sunday, because it was a Sunday. And I went to the Fatima Church, and I went to mass there, and I met Sister Layla.
This is on a stopover from one of your flights, yeah?
From one of my flights.
Okay.
And that was the start, really, of my most profound experience of flying, that I found the Fatima Center, because it bore the name of my sister. And when I met Sister Layla, the coincidences started.
I was going to say, there's a lot of connection there already, isn't there?
A lot of connection. And it even gets very interesting.
But was that when you came and you stopped over and you found Sister Layla at the Fatima Center?
At the Fatima Center.
That was like on a stopover, of course, and then what, you had to leave?
Yes, and I left.
Okay.
But it was such a profound encounter that I couldn't wait to come back and to see the center again, because they were a self-help center, and I saw what they were doing, and they were helping women who previously had gave their children for adoption, and they gave them an education. And with my job as being a stewardess, I could help them sell their handicraft. So I started traveling up and down, bringing their handicraft to Europe and selling it there to people who loved smock dresses and things that are quite unique that they made here.
That the world hasn't seen, of course, at that time.
At a very high quality, because the sisters are Irish, and it's like,
it's got to be the best. It's got to be the best.
They're still good at smocking, and
You've missed a stitch there. Put it back.
really,
They are though, haven't they? They're absolutely on the ball.
yes,
But that's great. I mean, so many connections.
Yes.
So when just before we say, why did you stay in Thailand? How did you end up in Thailand?
Yeah.
I mean, there's one thing that you spoke to me about before that. Of course, you caught breast cancer. Yes.
Right.
I mean,
That's why I stopped flying.
Yeah.
Early retirement, as they call it. And I later found out that there's a lot of radiation when you fly. And
Interesting.
I couldn't really talk about that because that would be detrimental for the economics of the flight industry. So they didn't really want to make that popular, that it was cancerous or cancer causing. But in the high atmosphere, I learned later that you get a lot of radiation that goes right through the fuselage of a flight. And a lot of colleagues of mine also all ended up with cancer.
of course, if you're flying that much,
Yes.
I understand
And
that.
especially over the pole.
Yes, you're sort of exposed to it a lot if you're flying for 20 or 5 years, aren't you?
Right.
I mean, I'm going to say this because I'd like to know, and you can answer if you wish. But I mean, as a lady finding out that, I mean, what goes through your mind? I mean, what sort of process is that?
Well, actually, when I did find out, it didn't really hit me until I started discussing it with my brothers and sisters who are all in the medical field. And I have two brothers who are both doctors and had totally opposite opinions about it. And I was kind of like, had to make choices really quickly.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm very grateful that I listened to my brother Kais, who actually is a urologist. He's not a gynecologist, he's a urologist, and my brother, who was married to the gynecologist, had a different opinion. That's beside the point. He was very radical, and he said, you have to have a mastectomy, and that's the best way to go. And I thought to myself, well, wow, what's going to happen now? And I did choose for that route because he was very adamant. And I'm very happy that I also didn't push away the psychological part of it, because there was an option of getting reconstruction after a mastectomy.
Yes.
And at the time, it's more important to get rid of the cancer.
Absolutely,
But
100%. Yeah.
afterwards, you're dealing with the psychological fact, and the option of having had reconstruction in the same operation as the mastectomy was the most horrific, painful experience that I've ever had in my life. But I am so, so happy I did it, because I'm doing the modeling and everything else now because I did it. And I'm fine with it, I don't feel...
So the process was they did it and then they reconstructed all in one time?
All in one.
Wow.
Yes, all in one.
Brave,
all in one.
very brave.
Yes, all in one.
I mean, a lot of people would have probably opted for taking it away first, seeing if everything was okay, and then going back and having something done later, which they do, of course, today, which is it's more advanced these days, of course. Yes. But of course, breast cancer is massive. It's just it's a worldwide thing that people sort of take notice of, but don't take notice of, do they?
They take notice of it, but I find that they don't want to talk about it. Yeah. And they push it under the carpet. And I believe in openness, and I believe in empowerment, and I believe in encouraging people who are dealing with it at the very moment. There's not a colleague, but there's a lady who is in the entertainment industry, a producer, young, beautiful Thai lady, and she's dealing with cancer. And I think that if you are positive to begin with it, and if you do survive, let other people know about it. And
of course, it's more awareness and breast cancer awareness now these days because
Yes.
we're more open these days about everything.
It's not a death sentence.
It's not a death sentence
It isn't
anymore.
at all.
And also, it's more out in the open, of course, and more people are privy to what it's all about.
Yes.
Same as prostate cancer for men and all this. I mean, it's just the norm now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Where years ago it was sort of like taboo to talk about it.
Yes.
People didn't want to so much.
They would say the C word, and
Sure.
yeah. But it's so prevalent. This what is it? 3 in 10 women get breast cancer. So there's a lot of women out
That's
there.
a lot of women.
Yes,
I mean, that's
an awful lot of women.
A lot of women out. But hey, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
And of course, you've dealt with that, gone through that. That's just a stepping stone in life, and
Makes you stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
I was going to say it must
Yeah.
have made you. That's what I'm saying in my head. I'm thinking, I'm trying to process what you're saying because what you said is pretty. It's pretty mind blowing what you went through.
Yeah.
But of course, you've come out the other side.
I'm sorry that sometimes I'm too open and people
No,
reprimand me for it.
Don't be. On this show, you can say whatever you want. They have got no say on this show.
But I get the lashback later on.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
We're not there when you get that.
that's me.
I get it all the time. Why did you say that? Why did you do this? But hey, whatever. Why? Okay, thank you for sharing that. It's really nice for you to talk about that. And of course, if any women are out there, and I mean, they can do a
welcome to talk to me.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, we'll put your details on our website.
Right.
On Talking Heads, we'll put your details on there. Can we put your number on there? Is that okay?
Everything's okay.
Okay, we'll put the number on there as well. And of course, if anybody thinks that they have the breast cancer thing or anything like that, which they can do, actually do a self-test, can't they, at home?
Yes, they
which
can.
I do because I have got somebody close to me at the moment going through the same thing.
Right.
So we'll put your details on there.
And don't push it off and don't push it away.
Don't sweep it under the carpet.
Don't confront it. Confront it and empower yourself by talking to other people who've gone through it.
My dad used to say, don't sweep it under the carpet because the rubbish will pile up, which is true.
And then
you're in the you know where I'm coming from. So after that, well done for that. And me and Bobby give you all our blessings for that because that's a very strong lady there.
Amazing story. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, you're very welcome.
Well, we feel very privileged. So after going through that, why Thailand? Why did you settle in Thailand out of all these countries you've been to?
The reason Thailand is because of my charity and my friendship that I built up with the Fatima Center, helping them through the years. And it's... I thought I turned my phone off.
It's okay. It's all right. We're the same, aren't we, Bobby?
I think that's my computer here.
Is that you? Don't worry about it. We like pings. We like ping. Anybody wants to
We
call
live
us?
in a ping world.
Call
here.
us or ping us or do whatever you want. We don't mind. It's live. That's what it's all about. So yeah, the Fatima Center.
Fatima Center is actually the reason why I came back to Thailand, and it's ironic because when I was flying, I would come here and spend. We'd have a long layover, 10 days, and we'd go up and down to Taipei or some other Manila, whatever, and I'd have quite some time here, and all the time I had here, I would spend at the Fatima Center. So I spent quite a few days in the month being at the center with orders and with all kinds of reasons. But when I came to live here, when I retired, ironically, our tables turned in Holland, and from being the wealthy lady who was able to do lots of charity work, I was all of a sudden trying to keep my own head above water and so
How
on.
things change quick.
And then what was so ironic is that I would see the sisters, and of course I'd go visit them, but no longer as the philanthropist or the helper or whatever. But and it would be less, maybe once every few months, because I was over here in Pattaya, which was is like 2.5 hours drive from Bangkok, and I was seeing them more when it was a 12-hour flight or a 10-hour flight. It's really strange.
So you spent what? Did you end up being? Is this where you end up being? This is your first place, Pattaya, or did you end up staying anywhere else first?
No, I came straight to Pattaya. And
Which is what year?
It was in 2002.
So okay,
Yeah.
it was a little bit different then.
Quite different. There was no coffee. You had to go
Well,
from
no coffee.
Banampur to Pattaya to get coffee, and now there's coffee shops all over the place.
I
And
can't believe that. There was no coffee.
well, there was coffee, but there wasn't like the thing that you see now in every corner of the street.
Oh,
Coffee
yeah,
shops,
okay.
little
Yeah.
cafes. They didn't have those in those days, and yeah, a lot has changed. Awful lot has changed.
So going from what you were doing in KLM and going from a bit of a wealthy lady and not caring about what things were or taking an easy route, coming down to Pattaya and ending up with a different lifestyle,
Right.
and having to find your feet again.
Right.
What did you do?
Well, I found a lovely building near the sea, and it was a little bit from the sea, so you don't get all the noise of the speedboats and whatever. And it was also very close to Sukhumvit, and it was an older building, so the price was right. And I bought 26 little studios. And because I spent all my time in hotel rooms, I knew what people liked, and good mattress and blackout curtains and nice view and quaintness and safety. And I found it in this building, so I started renovating, and I renovated all of them, and then started renting.
26 is a lot.
Yes,
It's a lot of work.
Started renting them out to, in the beginning, colleagues, KLM stewardesses and people that would come on holiday. And
Hey, come and see me. I know where you
Right.
can stay.
And now it's kind of turned to more of, taking care of a lot of elderly men who are kind of a bit lost. And I like doing that.
You know, when we say about the elderly men, I mean, I've had discussions in the past about this, and you know, people say, oh, well, you know, the older man, they go to Thailand and they find the younger lady and they take them out and they're together, and oh, it's wrong. And I say, well, what do you want the older man to do? Do you want him to sit in his living room in front of his fire with his feet up, watching TV every day, withering away, doing nothing? What would you rather do? Give the man some praise, give him some honor. I mean, you know, if that's the way he wants to go out and do his thing, let him do it.
This is the best place to really come to and be taken care of.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Who wants to be taken care of in Europe where it's cold and everybody's not just cold outside in the weather, but also people are cold to each other. And it's you come here and you get a nice smile, and you go with flow and you learn to play the game right, and it's really very pleasant to be here.
I've lost some great friends over the years here, you know, younger people and older people. Yeah. And I was 30 minutes away from somebody passing, and I always remember the last conversation that I had with him before he passed, and he went to me, it was a hell of a ride. Yeah. It was a hell of a ride. Yeah. He says, I never regret coming here. Yeah. And of course, 30 minutes after that, he passed away. But I mean, wow. Yeah. Isn't that good? I mean, that's great. Yeah. That's great memories, and having great memories, and of course, you're making memories when you're here. Yeah. 26 units at the moment, and of course, you've got your older gentlemen in there. What's your?
Not just gentlemen. I have ladies too.
Oh, that's okay.
Don't
be chauvinist.
And a lot of couples that that used to come in the high season. You know, when it's cold in Europe, and the heating bills are not that high here. So
no.
And
open the window. It's cheaper.
And it's easy to get to the beach, and we're right across from a lovely evening market, so they don't have to cook, and it's very safe. And there's a doctor around the corner, and the police around the corner. And it's a little village, so it's very friendly.
What year did you invest in your units?
Starting in 2002.
2002. So you made a good decision. It was a pretty good time to buy. And of course, that has been, I would imagine, for you, a little bit of an income support, whatever you want to say, which is cool. Okay, so once you've set that up and that's all got good.
Unfortunately, now, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're going to get there in a minute. We're going to go there in a minute, believe me. But I want to take you from getting yourself set in a little bit of a system where you've got a bit of an income and doing your thing, to going to where you get involved in. I mean, I know that you've been involved in a lot of things: TV, modelling, commercials, and I mean, tell me about this. I mean, how did you get involved in that? Because going from a centre,
right.
Fatima Centre, to like going to the other side of it,
right? Well, to tell you honestly, I'd never expected to end up in this industry again that I was in when I was young, being retired and living in a little fishing village. So I got back into it through my daughter, who was at ABAC going to university here, and I was kind of like encouraging her to do what I did in Los Angeles to earn some money and do some modeling. And I didn't want her to get into the wrong hands, so I used to go to castings with her. And then they said, hey, listen, we need elderly ladies too. You know, we need a mother for the Dunkin' Donut granny commercial. And I said, well, why not?
Why not for it?
Why not? And
Why
then
not?
they made the movie The Hangover 2, which was my first step into the movies. And they said, hey, we need the mother of Stu. And that was an amazing experience. And I'm just so lucky that at my age I got that opportunity.
And you met all the guys, of course. I mean, that must have been amazing.
Yes, and my daughter knew exactly who they were, but I didn't.
That's terrible,
And she
isn't it?
said,
Do you realize who that is?
Get an autograph. And I'm going like, well, but I'm with them. It doesn't look very professional. I start asking for autographs. But it was amazing.
But that was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I bet it was.
And
there.
still is.
And still is.
And it
still
still is.
Still a great
It
movie.
still
isn't it?
is.
Still a great
Yeah,
movie.
it is.
But what is your current status in the way of like? I know that you're involved in the TV and the modelling. And that. I mean, where are you involved in? I mean, what paths do you take and who do you get involved with?
In Thailand, it's very different from Los Angeles, and it's all freelance. So it's not as organized as it is in LA or in Europe. So for me, it's sometimes quite confusing, and it's quite difficult to find my way of where castings are. And and they get me on the phone, and their English isn't that perfect. Now I don't know who I'm speaking to, and I really don't know where I'm going, and I really don't know what I'm doing. And it's Thailand. It's Thailand, and you go with the flow, and you just enjoy it. And afterwards, I go, okay, I did this, and even I did an ad for the Icon Siam. Had no clue what it was all about until it was built, and then I saw it, and I go, oh, okay, this is what we did. It's like.
Is all this in English, Layla?
No, a lot of it is in Thai.
You speak Thai?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, so it's all hands and feet work.
Oh, okay. So you have to sort of
Yes, and you go with the flow, and you kind of and especially when you're doing Thai Lakorn, which is the soap operas, and everybody's getting instructions, and you're like they're going, okay, how about me? Can someone tell me what's going on?
You have to speak Thai in the Thai movies, don't you? Surely.
I can't.
You can't.
So it's either voiceover or it's a horror movie where I just have to yell and scream.
They're into that. I mean, my wife watches all those Thai horror movies. I mean,
I just did one.
why is
Never again.
In the movies? Can you tell me? I mean, I got to know this. In the Thai movies that I see my wife watching and what's on TV, how come every Thai family in the movies owns a mansion the size of a football stadium, has 21 Mercedes, and they all dress and they're absolutely perfect?
I'll tell you why. Because in Thailand, money is number one. It's more important than God, king, or anything.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. And if you want a reflection of that, it's in the Thai movies and in the soap opera.
What I don't understand in some of the Thai movies is that there's the censorship. Because on some channels they show it and on other channels they don't. Right. Is there not one censorship for the whole of Thailand, do you know? Because I look on some movies, they'll censor out the gun or the cleavage of a woman, and yet on another movie you'll see the cleavage of a woman and you see the gun. Is there a reason behind that, or do you know?
Is there any reason here?
I knew the answer. I knew the answer.
That's the whole. That's the whole fun and games of this. Nobody knows what's going on. At least I don't. I just go with the flow. And it's like I have question marks in front, left, right, above, and below me. Like what on earth is going on? So you just that's part of the adventure of living here and being here. And if you want to know, then you shouldn't be living here and you shouldn't be in the industry. Go back to Europe where you know everything, and go back to America where money is, every minute is accounted for, and you're told you've got everything is organized beforehand. Here,
the slow pace is great, isn't it?
Sometimes it reminds me. We live in Belgium, and I'm Dutch. And the difference between the Belgians and the Dutch is the same. The Dutch are very, very organized, and 1 and 1 is 2, not 2.5. And in Belgium, it's easy. And here everything is also, you just okay, yeah, my belai. And if it goes one way, it's fine. If it goes the other way, fine. But I'm always amazed at how the end product is very professional.
Yeah, sure.
What they end up with is amazing.
It's like organized chaos, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
that's what you've got to think of. I mean, I once asked somebody before I came here, and I was talking to somebody over in another country about Thailand because I was going to come over here, and I said, "Oh, what's it like driving over there and all that kind of thing?" He went, "It's like the wacky races on steroids."
Yeah.
That's what he told me, and he wasn't far wrong.
No.
When I first got here, I thought, "Wow," it was. I mean, you'll agree with that,
but that's the pleasant part of being here. It's like never a dull moment.
There isn't. I mean, you agree with that, don't you? I mean, the pace here is a lot slower, and
that's why we're here. Yeah.
It's nice.
I love it.
Different version of chaos, right?
I love it. I love it.
I feel as though there is when you're here. I don't feel the pressures of the European countries.
Right.
I know we all sort of like things in Thailand. We all disagree with things in Thailand. We all like things of Thailand, but that's just part of being here. And I mean, once you take that on board and you don't think about it too much, life becomes a lot easier.
Yes.
It's when you overthink things,
Right.
and overprocess things that it gets complicated in your head, and you just worry yourself.
Right.
So I think, like the Thais do, they do go with the flow.
Right.
And
Completely.
and their organisation isn't the best in the world. I mean, the priority, like you say, is eating and money.
Yes.
Which is great. But like you say, organised chaos brings out really good things at the end of it. I mean, sometimes I don't even know how they manage it.
No.
Because I've been on a few things and I think to myself, what's this going to end up like? But
never a dull moment is what I say.
There's definitely never a dull moment.
Yes.
What is your day? What is your day-to-day process at the moment? Is there a day-to-day process that you have at the moment, or is it just weekly? Or
it's a moment to moment, and things change all the time. And I'm here, there, and everywhere. And I'm like, I'm always amazed at how many things do come on my path, and how many things do happen all the time. And I'm that type of person that I don't really want to be that organized. It's like life is too short, and we shouldn't be planning
too far ahead.
Right. Just take it day by day, and just do it the Thai way. Go with the stream. Don't try to swim upstream. And things change. Situations change, people change, just go with it.
It's amazing how when you first come in, I don't know if you know this, probably Bobby does, and I know a few of my friends who I've spoke to before do, and that is you realise what Thailand is when you click out of holiday mode. Once you get out of holiday mode in your head, because when you come here, you're in holiday mode and everything's like, well, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do. And once you get out of that and you live here and you flick the switch and you start to calm down and go with the flow, like you say every day, it's a very nice place to be. Would you agree with that?
Well, I would say I'm still in holiday mode every time I sit on my balcony and I look out at the beautiful view and the sunset, and I'm going every it's holiday mode.
But holiday mode
it's putting what I did with KLM too. It's like earning a living, having fun. I was traveling,
exactly.
I loved it, and what I'm doing now is doing movies and having fun, really. And if you can combine the two, you're a very lucky, very happy person. And I got that spiritual stability of my faith, and that brings out my inner strength. And the rest is holiday and trying to make a living. God will take care of everything. Yes, it's on holiday.
On holiday, try and make a living on holiday.
Not just for myself, but I think it's also for the people around me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you see other people happy, that makes you happy.
What's your? We're gonna say this because Bobby's at the end of the table and he has his views. What's your opinion of what's happening now with COVID in the world today?
I love COVID. It's making people go home in their heads, trying to really understand what they're all about. It makes them stop their fast pace in life, and it makes people come home to their homes. They've got house arrest,
Yeah.
But you can either call it negatively, oh, I'm imprisoned, or you can say, I'm being brought closer to my family, friends, whoever you want to be with, at home, in the bubbles. It's bringing, I experience it as a very positive thing. Of course, worldwide, politically, you could have a lot of theories and of manipulation and of infiltration and of, but I don't want to experience it that way.
You're looking at the positive side of COVID,
Right.
where, I mean, of course, a lot of people around the world, let's say this, I mean, and this is a good way to put it, I would imagine, and probably Bobby will jump in on this. I mean, if everybody in the world looked at it on the positive side of what you've just said, it would be looked at different. I understand that. But the problem is they're not.
Right.
They're all looking at it on the negative side.
Right.
They're all spreading the bullshit, expressing.
Yes.
That's what they're saying. They're all spreading the rubbish.
What I really
around.
believe is that the pain is not the health pain, but it's going to be mental pain. It's going to be loss of work, of
Yes.
economics, and it's going to be political pain because people are going to be suppressing or, how do you call it, using it to gain power. And when people start doing that, it's sad because it's not good for the world.
Well, there's just
I hate to sound.
well, there's been an announcement today that over 50%. I mean, well, actually, one of the biggest, two of the biggest, cinema people in the world that own the cinema rights to the cinemas where people, they show the films and that, have closed them. At the end of this month, they closed them, which is a layoff of nearly 140,000 jobs. This is something that's, I think personally, this is the molehill and the mountain thing. This is a molehill. This is all it is. It's a little molehill. But of course, doing what humans do these days with social media and all the stuff around, of course, as Bobby's going to say in a minute, because he's so itching to get on this microphone.
No, I'm not. I'm enjoying everything.
It's just
I'm
blown
the fly
out.
on the wall
It's
today.
blown out of proportion, though, isn't it, Bobby? We've said this on shows. It's just blown out of proportion.
It is, and I really appreciate your perspective on it because, we are reevaluating every part of our lives right now, and it's taken COVID to put us there. Usually it's good to reevaluate without COVID, but it actually had to take COVID to actually put us in that place of reevaluation and changing the channel and resetting.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I really like your perspective on that.
We tend to, when you go back and look at like my mum and dad, what we used to do when we was younger, we were a unit, we were a family. We found pleasure in being together, going out, playing together, and making something out of nothing,
Right.
and enjoying time together. I think that the old AI thing, the technology is great, but I also think it's a massive weapon, which is proven at the moment, of course. But anyway, hopefully it'll be over soon. Yes,
It is. It's not a health issue. It's much more than that.
political.
Yes.
We can say that. Anyway, it's good that you've been in today. Have you enjoyed it?
Well, it was my pleasure too.
It's been so nice to
Will
have
you
you
come
in here.
back? Will you come back and visit us again?
Of course.
You'll
Such
have-
nice people. I'm not going to say no.
She's going. Have you enjoyed it though? It wasn't as bad, wasn't it?
Not bad at all.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I didn't expect it to be bad.
And we've unvirginized you on the podcast
Yes,
site, on the
yes,
scene. So
yes.
now you can walk around when you go to Bangkok and you're
I'm
doing.
up with my head in the sky.
That's it. You can say in Bangkok, you know what? I'm the podcast queen. Leave me alone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, agreed. Nice, Bobby.
Agreed.
Enjoy that one.
Thank you, Layla, so much.
Thank you so much.
Layla,
Jeff.
thank you very much for coming in the studio and joining us.
Anytime.
Hopefully you'll come back and we're going to try and get a few around the table as well and have like an open chat on a couple of days
maybe
as well.
we can get Ross Kane
Yeah.
on there too.
Yeah, why not?
that'd
All
be
right.
Very nice. He's a better talker than I am.
Well, everybody's a talker. Everybody has a story to tell, and that's what we want to hear. Okay. But today you've told your stories. We love to hear them. You've been such a pleasure to have in the studio, and a little bright light in here as well. All in yellow day today, yeah?
All in yellow.
Good. Thank you very much, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Talking Heads podcast live from Pattaya, Thailand, with your host Dave D. Join us weekdays. Check out all the latest updates on talkingheads-podcast.com.